I miss the energy. We Trinbago vibe that comes alive for the world's greatest show. I miss the passion and unity when we stand together, rallying hard for we team. I miss the food, we best mix of cultures, stewed and curried and sauteed into the most delicious dishes. I miss the artistry, we beautiful country. I miss the celebrating, all the moments that mean the world to us. Working, creating, playing, we can recapture all the things we love. Do your part. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Watch your distance. Get vaccinated. When we work together for the greater good, we will win. Let's put we before me. Let's do this, TNT. We, not me, TT. I miss the energy. We Trinbago vibe that comes alive for the world's greatest show. I miss the passion and unity when we stand together, rallying hard for we team. I miss the food, we best mix of cultures, stewed and curried and sauteed into the most delicious dishes. I miss the artistry, we beautiful country. I miss the celebrating, all the moments that mean the world to us. Working, creating, playing, we can recapture all the things we love. Do your part. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Watch your distance. Get vaccinated. When we work together for the greater good, we will win. Let's put we before me. Let's do this, TNT. We, not me, TT.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. We are just holding for one of our speakers to arrive. He's running a little bit late and hopefully giving the media a few minutes to make sure that everybody's here. So it looks like it's working, so just give us a few more minutes. Thank you for your patience.
Again, welcome to Queen's Hall. Just bear with me a few moments because we need to make sure that everything is safe, everyone is looked after. First and foremost, we will ask that you continue to adhere to all COVID protocols, keep your masks on, ensure that you remain socially distanced. In case of an emergency, an alarm will sound in the building, and we ask that you immediately and calmly get up from your seats and make your way to the exits and down to the farthest point reach of the car park, which will be muster point A. If the emergency is in the front of the building, you will then be ushered down to the exits on the eastern or the western side of the building and make your way back to the muster point B, which is at the back car park area. Again, please ensure, even in an instance of an emergency, that you adhere to all necessary COVID protocols, and we hope you all have a successful event here today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to members of the media. Welcome to members of the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association. Welcome to all of those viewing and listening across the globe and of course here in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much for your time today. On our program, we have a few speakers today, and I'd like to introduce them before we begin. Mr. Jerome, who is the president of the TTPA, Mr. Adrian Chandler, who is a service supplier for the industry as well as a member of the TTPA, and we are also expecting Mr. Dexter Blaxx Stewart, a distinguished performer and son of the soil, to address you this afternoon. So thank you for your patience as we did start a little bit late, and I'd like to introduce Mr. Precilla to begin today's proceedings.
Thank you, Paige. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Jerome Precilla. A lot of you may know me as Rome. It's Rome. And today I am speaking in the capacity of the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association. But aside from this role, I have been a member of the entertainment fraternity for years. I am not only the president of the Promoters Association, being a promoter myself, I am a Soca artist, I am a Soca artist, I am a radio personality, I'm the co-founder of a radio station, and I am part and parcel, I'm an event host. So when I speak, it is because I am feeling the pinch just like everyone else. And it is something that Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean and the world at large needs to recognize, that Trinidad and Tobago's event sector is not about a wine and jam. It's not about a party here and there. It is an ecosystem. And why I mention the different things that I'm involved in is because we have been feeling it in the radio station sector as well. Because we could mention that the ecosystem of the event sector involves many people, including, as I want to start with, radio stations. Radio stations are feeling the hit because party promoters, event promoters would usually spend their money on ads to promote their events. Without events, there are no ads. I come down to the Soca artists, to the Trinidad movement, who are here with us, and we want to thank them for coming. The Calypsonians, we are talking about the street vendors, we are talking about the event suppliers. We have members of the TV and radio professionals who are here with us. We have event suppliers, we have event sponsors, members of the manufacturing sector who would usually supply products for events that are being affected by this thing. We have all of the DJs that would usually perform for events. We have our bar suppliers, and we want to say welcome to each and every one of you who I consider members and stakeholders of our event sector. I know that Trinidad and Tobago is experiencing a pandemic, and it's not only TNT, it's the entire world. And I made mention to that as we are not tone deaf as to what is happening out there. We know what is taking place out there, and we have been very, very patient. We have been in talks with the government since last year, May, in terms of what our sector would look like. How can we reopen safely? Because the last thing that we would want as the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association or the event sector is to reopen our sector and be the ones responsible for causing a spike of COVID-19 or for the loss of more lives. So we have been in discussions for many, many months. We have written numerous proposals. We have spent hours on these proposals. We have looked at all the different ways that this thing can happen in a safe and effective manner. So I want to start with that we are not here to be irresponsible, to reopen our sector in a way that would cause harm to the population of Trinidad and Tobago. We have been in talks with the Ministry of Health, and we have been liaising with them to get their guidance. But we felt as though our patience has finally run out. After 2 years of our sector being down, we have had members of our sector who have nothing now. Some may be okay, but the majority are not. A lot of people wouldn't come out in public and say that. But we have people who have to sell their supply goods. We have people who have to sell some of the equipment that they would rent out. We have artists who are struggling to make ends meet. This is a cry for our sector to reopen. Not we want a handout, or we want something. We want the opportunity to work, to get back out there and do what we do to earn an income, to mind our families, to put food on the table. So we want to take the whole mindset of this being a party or an event or people having a fun time and focus this on, this is a sector that provides an income or revenue for people to live, for our livelihoods. And our livelihoods have been put on halt for 2 years. We are the only industry in Trinidad and Tobago that has not reopened after 2 years and have not even been given a chance, a glimmer, an opportunity to see if we reopen, what would happen. Everybody else has been given that opportunity, and we felt as though we have been silent for way too long. And we have been silent because we have been negotiating with the government to see how this would unfold. We know we have new variants of the virus. But we think we reach a position where, and I'm using one of the words that the Prime Minister would have used in his last speech, where there's an endemic. The rest of the world has been opening up. The rest of the world has realized that COVID-19 is not going anywhere. It is here with us, and it will be here with us for a while, and it will be here with us for a long while. So what are we going to do? There's talk about carnival in the air, yeah? And I could tell you that as of now, it is not in any shape or form of what we, the promoters, would have liked to see happen for carnival. Right now, the proposal on the table is seated-only events. And the question we beg to ask is, okay, this is 2022 carnival. COVID-19 will most likely be here for 2023 carnival. Are we going to have the exact same thing all over again? When are we going to reach the point where we realize as a country that we have to live with this thing and our lives have to move on? Mention has been made of vaccinated-only events, which we, in terms of the Promoters Association, fully support this and we fully endorse it. But when would we be allowed to really have an event? Not a sit-down type event where you're watching your Soca artist perform or a calypsonian and you have to just tap your foot and clap your hands. When will we be able to go back out there and do something in a small way, in a safe way, and move on? As we made reference to the rest of the world opening, we have, and every time we bring up this topic, people say, well, you can't compare Trinidad and Tobago to the rest of the world because their healthcare system is different from ours. We know this. We are not saying to hold a 10,000, 20,000 person event. We are asking for us to start small. We are asking for outdoor events first. Start with small numbers and let us grow. Let us have the opportunity. I make reference to Barbados. One of the points that the Ministry of Health keep on alluding to is that our vaccination numbers aren't where they should be in order for us to reopen our sector. Granted, we are at approximately close to 50%. Barbados has very similar vaccination numbers that we do. Yet still, Barbados allows events of up to 500 persons at a time, both vax and unvax. We will go in with vaccinated-only persons in an event. Why? Because according to the science, you get vaccinated, you go to an event like this, your risk is much lower because you go back home to a vaccinated family, most likely, and to mingle with vaccinated friends. Because according to the psychologists, most of the vaccinated people mingle with other vaccinated people when they go back into the homes. And it has been tried and proven. So your risk is reduced. So we are saying vaccinated-only events, let us reopen our sector. In terms of the rest of the world, they are pivoting on the word endemic because they realize it is not going anywhere, and they are reopening. But here in Trinidad and Tobago, we are still taking this approach where we have shut down our sector completely. No glimmer of hope. The other point is, in terms of the vaccination numbers, our vaccination numbers in Trinidad and Tobago have been stuck at around 40-something% for the longest while. We asked the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the Ministry of Health, how do you plan to move these numbers from where it is to where you want it to be? Have you given the promoters, have you given the event sector a target to meet? Have you given Trinidad and Tobago a target to say, well, okay, our event sector will reopen when we hit X percentage. No, we have not been given. So we are on a mission and we don't know where we're going. What is the target we're trying to aim? What is the hope that you're giving people? And then if you're telling us that we cannot have events, even if it's vaccinated persons only, then to the party goer who we think would be encouraged to get vaccinated to attend an event like this, you are giving them no hope. Because if I was going to take my vaccine in order to go to a party or to go to an event, and you're telling me that cannot happen, then I'm going to ask myself, well then, what are I getting vaccine for? Because if the whole promise is that, okay, it is going to help you to get back on with life, but for our event sector, we are not going ahead with our lives. Our lives have been halted for so long. And it's not that we are not in support of the health sector. We are, because the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association has partnered with the We Not Me Foundation, where we have partnered with private sector individuals who have sponsored a campaign, and we have been promoting vaccination. So we fully believe in it, and we are trying. And there are numerous vaccination campaigns happening. Our artists have been participating in these vaccination campaigns to help to drive the numbers up. But with all of this, we have all reached a roadblock. And what is going to happen next? If these numbers don't move up, what is going to happen next for our sector? How long are we going to remain closed for? In terms of these seated events, I must say that we are all for the culture. We are all for the calypsonians, for the panists, for the stick fighters, for the carnival mask creators to have these type of events. We are all for it in terms of we want them to showcase the culture and all of that. But in the real essence of Trinidad and Tobago's culture, those events from our experience, from those of us who put on these type of events, I was the last person to put on a type of event like this. It is not financially feasible for a promoter to do that. There are very few promoters who will benefit from these type of events. Very, very few. And after a while, as we have been seeing, Trinidad and Tobago residents, they have been getting fed up of these type of events. When you put on a virtual last year, they were all for it. Now, if you try to do it, you're not going to get the numbers that you had before. In terms of having an event like that, yes, if you get the sponsorship, you may be able to make, but how many people can benefit from that? And a lot of the corporate sponsors have been feeling the pinch of the pandemic themselves. So they have not been as generous as they were in the past to give sponsorship because they feel in the pinch as well. And they are the ones who could support these things because I'm telling you all, having 50% capacity in one of these venues, the amount of tickets you would sell will never cover your costs if you put on a good show. It's not. So you have to base your entire thing on sponsorship. So this is just a glimpse of what is happening right now. And our call is really to ask for our sector to reopen. And again, I drive home the point that please do not consider our sector as a wine and jam sector. Do not consider our sector as they come to party. Remember that the people who are sitting here before you, the people who are looking at this thing, are part of an ecosystem that provides for their families with this thing, with this as their sole income, some of them. So ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed, I would like to welcome another member of our sector, Mr. Dexter Blaxx, Stewart. You ready to go? All right, let's go. So let's welcome Blaxx to the stage in a different capacity. Normally you'll be here in yeah. To give a little insight into what the artists are going through.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you all? Hey, good to see you. I could talk from my experience with this pandemic. It wasn't easy. Somehow or the other, as an individual, have learned how to flip stuff, flip negative into positive. So, on one aspect, the pandemic gave me an opportunity to know who is my big daughter boyfriend. work with the kids, spend more time home. And on the other hand, this thing was devastating, man. It was really, really devastating. Right now, I have a MacBook. Anybody want a laptop, a computer to buy? I just sell out stuff, to make ends meet. Also, we had to thank producers who will barter the skills. Like, for me, being as one of the older ones in the industry, you find most producers now will barter the skills. They wouldn't look for money up front. They will share, So that is how I record 50% of the electronic sales, and we work out something, and a lot of people talk about artists could go outside and earn money. It is not so for every artist. It is definitely not so for every artist. It is very, very hard sometimes for even the artists that are mature. It's very, very hard sometimes for even the artists that are mature and the artists that are doing well to find jobs. It is very important that our industry open up. Small numbers, 500, 250. What we have to take into consideration too as artists and musicians, and because this thing not only entails artists, the man who selling nuts, the man who cleaning the venue, the man who putting up the stage, the man who putting up the box, the man who wiring the, because I'm a bandman, the man who driving the truck, the person who tearing the ticket by the booth. It is very, very important for us to try somehow to open back our industry. Small numbers, 250. I go cut my price. And we have to work together. We have to work together in as I say, I will cut my price. Cut my price and work and build. Because this pandemic is not going away. It's not going away. Man, this is one of the most difficult times I have ever faced in my life. So, and it's good to see we making effort as a body, something that is very, very important to me. A lot of things are being talked about Carnival and planning for Carnival, and we seem to leave the artists out. It's important. We have a lot of educated artists. We have a lot of smart guys, young ones, old ones. We're not only good for put your hand in the air and jump and wave. Give us the opportunity to help make decisions too. Bring us on board. We have ideas. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't no big speech man, as you all know, right? But I'm blessed to be here. I think I may be one of the first artists that get this opportunity to walk on stage here and share my little views, right? In saying that, I will say good afternoon, and I love you all. Peace.
Thank you very much, Blaxx. Spoken from the heart, and we could hear that the artist, and he speaks on behalf of all the artists. I see we have other artists here as well. Welcome, Pretty. That would have felt the pinch, the same sentiments that Blaxx would have expressed, because I speak to my fellow artists, and all of them say the same thing. They are ready for the sector to be reopened at some point. Now I'm going to call upon somebody who is also part of the ecosystem, someone that supplies us with the equipment for us to have our events, and somebody who definitely knows what we are going through. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome on stage the Managing Director of SFX, Mr. Adrian Chandler.
Good afternoon, everyone, members of the media, members of the TTPA, invited guests. I too come before you this evening in various capacities. A supplier to the entertainment industry, or more so the event sector, a promoter, and a member of the TTPA. The past 2 years for us as suppliers has been nothing short of difficult. I would like to start off by addressing the elephant in the room. So just as Blaxx said, you know, he's speaking from the heart. He's not much of a speaker. I'm not much of a speaker. So I'd like to get straight to it. I don't know how many of us or how many of you listening today who are here, you know, we face the reality of the banks calling us. We have commitments, we have responsibilities prior to the pandemic. The pandemic has slowed down and stopped quite a lot, but the bills don't stop coming. TNTech is still emailing, WASA is still sending their bill, the banks are still calling for their fees. They've deferred payments, they've given you moratoriums, but then there are interest fees, there are charges, and those things then compound. So what we are asking for is not unreasonable. We are asking for some semblance of hope, some glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how small, 250 persons, 500 persons. Some may say it's irresponsible of us, and not to sound repetitive, not that we want to wine and jam, but this is the culture that we know. Some of us have built a profession on it. There are others like myself, many others, some smaller, some larger, that have invested millions of dollars. And I'm not just throwing loose figures out there, millions of dollars to purchase equipment, you know, just to sustain their livelihoods. Some may say schools aren't even open as yet, but you all want to come and throw parties. I still have to pay school fees. So it's not just a matter of paying the school fees, but I have to put, you know, my youngest son in a pod. I still have to pay someone to look after him during the day while both his parents go out to work. So in some cases, it may seem as though, you know, you jump from the frying pan into the fire because now you're paying double what you're paying before. So again, I think what we're asking for is not unreasonable. There was a word that had been used in the early stages of the pandemic, pivot. Why can't you all pivot? Well, I made a pivot, right? And I opened a grocery. I went into uncharted territory, something that I know nothing about. Not many people were able to do maybe something that I did. But it hasn't been easy. I have had my fair share of it, leaving early in the morning, leaving your house early in the morning, coming home late at night. And, you know, it's just not helping, right? I have invested millions of dollars into the event industry. And when I say event, I don't mean partying events. We supply to religious events, corporate events, school events, sporting events. So from a holistic point of view, there are different categories of events. There are persons who want to do, you know, small-scale events. Right here, Queen's Hall. What can we do? You know, we are being led on, we are being fed false hopes, and it's time for us now to speak up. You know, we want something in return. How long again we could continue like this, I don't know. Right? And again, I am putting shame aside. And for those who are listening on, you know, I have to refinance. I have to restructure my business. I have to scale down. I have to make decisions. How many more of you have to make same set decisions? How many more of you have the banks calling? Right? Savings could only last you so long. March of this year will make it exactly 2 years. So, this is as real as it gets. I don't know how long I can continue for, and for those of you who share, like I said, the same sentiments as myself, I don't know how long you will be able to continue for. So, collectively, as an association, for those of you listening on, we're asking you, you know, to please hear our cry and understand where we are coming from, how this has affected us, what it is doing to us, and, you know, allow us the opportunity to show that we are not just a bunch of persons want to throw events, we are also a bunch of professionals, right? And given the opportunity, I'm sure we can do this properly and show the powers that be that, you know, we must find some safe and responsible way of bringing back, you know, some hope to our industry. All right? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chandler. And I want to piggyback on something that he said. A lot of people use the word pivot. And promoters are very, very unique individuals. They are risk takers. And not only that, not only promoters, people in the event sector on the whole are creative. So we are very creative and we know how to pivot. But there's only so many times you can pivot before you make a 360 and you end up right back here. Because picture this. You have been studying or you have been investing your time in a certain profession in the event sector for the majority of your adult life. Somebody comes and tells you, you are not allowed to work anymore. You now have to go into new waters, uncharted waters, and open a brand new business or try something totally different away from what you know your whole life to try it out. Chances are you probably are going to fail. And a lot of us have in trying different things. But we tried. Now we're back here. And again, we are reiterating, all we are asking for is the opportunity to earn an income, an opportunity to work, and we are not here for handouts. As Adrian alluded to, it's only so long, as the old people would say for a rainy day, it is 2 years. I have never heard anybody say for a rainy 2 years, ever. Because as much as people would think entertainers and suppliers and people in the event sector are these big rich people, there are also small event producers, and even the large ones are feeling the pinch. If somebody stops your source of income, picture you just took out a mortgage or you took out a car and you have to make these payments, the pandemic hits, you have no income. For 2 years, the bank will come to take back your house, they will come to take back your car. What are your children going, where are your children going to stay? You're going to have to pack up your whole family to go back by mommy and daddy? Think about it this way. All we are asking for is the opportunity to earn an income. And now with that, I want to invite one of our venue owners to come and say a few words on behalf of that sector of the entire ecosystem, Mr. Andrew Smith. Let's welcome Andrew.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrew Smith. I'm the Managing Director of the Anchorage event venue in Chaguaramas. You know, I've asked myself this question as well. What is the purpose of an event venue if you can't have events? The event and entertainment sector has been one of the hardest hit by the pandemic. As an event venue, the loss of income for the last 2 years has been tremendous. We've also experienced numerous cancellations of bookings due to the present regulations and the protocols. a lot of people in the event sector do not have sustainable income and employment. As an event venue, we directly employ people such as bartenders, security officers, cleaners, caterers, decorators, coordinators, and there are a lot of other stakeholders in the event business, event promoters, hairstylists, beverage suppliers, artists, DJs, just to name a few. For a lot of people, the sector being closed is just a matter of, well, we're not going out this weekend or we're not going out tonight. But for us employed in the sector, it's not about that. It's a matter of paying our bills, right? Feeding our families and surviving. I'm making a public appeal to please reopen the sector with a responsible and scientific approach so that we can all earn an honest living. Vaccines have proven to save lives, allow fully vaccinated people more freedom to mix and mingle, and allow events to reopen on a phased basis. I know that the TTPA has submitted a report to the government detailing how all of this can be done safely. And I'm sure that reopening our sector, the event sector, will encourage a lot more people to get vaccinated as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. And now I'm going to invite our advocate of the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association, Ms. Paige de Leon, to say a few words. Let's welcome Paige.
Thank you, everyone. I speak on behalf of the members of the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association. First of all, we want to express gratitude to you all for the patience, discipline, and strength that you continue to practice as we collectively navigate our way to the other side of the COVID-19 pandemic. We have been each other's keepers in so many ways during the past 2 years. We want to say thank you. None of us thought that we would still be here, but we are, and it has been hard. We have all lost family, friends, colleagues. We have lost icons. We've lost role models. We have lost legends. Today, we remember them all with love, and we wish peace for each and every one of us that survives them. In addition to the loss of loved and cherished ones, many of us have also lost jobs, homes, businesses, and opportunities. But mostly, we mourn the loss of time to this pandemic, time that we cannot get back. And so today, we are tasked with doing the work necessary in our own disciplines to ensure a sustainable future for the event production and entertainment industry in Trinidad and Tobago, as we are the anchor of the nation's tourism product. We do not and cannot rightly claim that we represent everyone in the complex cultural plane that we live on. However, we do believe that our interventions today and going forward will benefit all of our partners in the sector. We consider ourselves the entrepreneurial branch of the nation's cultural tree. We as entrepreneurs and the business that we generate are rooted in the music, rooted in the mass, the pan, the art, and the dance that our amazing creatives share. We are rooted in packaging for domestic consumption and for export, our country's most valuable commodity, that which speaks of our hearts, the culture. We are an essential part of the whole. We depend on our partners to be able to produce. It's a responsibility that we at the TTPA have taken very seriously and have ensured that brand Trinidad and Tobago is known for its excellence in the field of event production and cultural export all over the world. So what does the future look like? There are 2 points of view. Outside of these shores, life, despite the presence of COVID-19, is returning to normal. Developed countries, our fellow island nations in the Caribbean, have included tourism and their entertainment sectors in the strategic economic recovery plans. Many of them have supported their practitioners during the pandemic and are doing all they can to ensure that those sectors get the reboot that they need. Some of our event entrepreneurs, our artists, our creatives, are being welcomed and beckoned to come and do their thing abroad. As a result, we are in the throes of a cultural brain drain in Trinidad and Tobago. Here at home, the outlook for those of us who cannot make it outside is bleak. The entertainment sector has been closed for 2 years, as all of the previous speakers would have indicated, and we all know. We do not know when we will be permitted to reopen our sector. We have completely exhausted the consultative process. We have been forced into survival mode with no end in sight, with no idea about where we fit into any existing strategy to restart our economy. We are sadly much further away than we should be in 2022 from a sustainable future, and for some, any future at all. Contrary to popular belief, our sector is not government-proof. We require permission to restart our enterprise because we are not in the business of breaking the law. We rallied the troops to come out here today to show solidarity, and if you look around the room, you will see that the tree is well represented. We thank you all for coming, and I want to make special mention of the Trinidad movement, who have sent some of their soldiers here today. Trinidad music is one of the voices of our nation's youth. They are part of our cultural future. We can't ignore them anymore. What we build now, we leave for them. We say to them today, thank you, we respect your offerings as social commentary, and we acknowledge that you have a place among us. They too have been shoved into a corner, their offerings polarized and vilified. Thank you for standing up and agreeing to be counted. And now to the heart of the matter. On behalf of our members and our treasured stakeholders, we ask for the following for the sake of our future. We ask that the private sector, as a part of Trinidad and Tobago's economic landscape in the event sector, be reopened to vaccinated persons. Not for a short few weeks to facilitate state-sponsored events and state-owned venues for an homage to Carnival, but so the business of events can begin again with vaccinated persons. If we are in fact looking at global responses to COVID-19, this is where it's trending. We mentioned today St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent, who have health sectors comparable to ours. There are many other examples across the world where the entertainment industries have reopened successfully and safely. We ask for vaccinated-only outdoor events to resume. It is accepted that outdoor gathering is much safer than indoor gathering. We are confused about the motivation here and ask for clarity and a reckoning of this policy. We ask that a new mechanism for engaging the public sector in terms of culture is created. We can only, beyond this point, in good conscience, engage in visionary, meaningful, forward-thinking collaboration about how we use our cultural sector as a tool to earn foreign exchange and vault our tourism product to the front of the line. Frankly, we need new systems. The old ones no longer work. We ask for the green light for Carnival 2023. We ask for it to be given so we can plan for our economic future without uncertainty, without living in what has been a perpetual winter of discontent. Carnival is our tourism pearl. It is Trinidad and Tobago's unique offering. It is where we excel in a world that favors high-quality event tourism. We are the best. And now to address directly the issue of the taste of Carnival. As indicated earlier, we have exhausted the consultative process. It has been ongoing for many, many months. What has been proposed is no different from what obtained 1 year ago. We have made no progress. 5 weeks to the end of the 2022 Carnival season, we are not in a position to collaborate in general with the plans that have been presented to us. It is from the point of view of the members of the TTPA, too little, too late. The Carnival 2022 ship has sailed. What has been proposed only benefits those who receive government subventions and fall under the arm of the financial protection of the state. We do not. We represent those people who mortgage their homes, who sell their cars, who borrow from friends to host an event. That is our reality. We are the risk takers. We have not ever been the beneficiaries of government subventions, and we do not intend to change this. As it stands, only state-owned spaces are available for use in this plan for a taste of Carnival. We note the marked reduction in the outdoor-only sit-down virtual hybrid offerings from last year. Economics has not been kind to those efforts. People across the world have not embraced this new normal as was once posited. Online events are clearly not the future. To close, we continue to see many trashing the Carnival and the Carnival mentality of our people. But we believe it is not trash, it is bounty, our national bounty. We hope for an end to the culturally contemptuous employment of the phrase, all we want to do is wine and jam. We should not continue to accept this, not in the harsh light of the economic reality of 2022. It's time for us to respectfully globalize our sector, and we can use this period to do it. It will take effort and consistency for us to do so. Our fraternity is willing and able. We ask again in 2022, as we did almost a year ago, that we begin to plan now to welcome the world back to our country. We must present ourselves as the best place for the world to visit when it's time for people to seek leisure again. This is a strategic decision that must be made now and executed to perfection. The people of Trinidad and Tobago have a unique relationship with culture. It is how that relationship manifests that makes us different from anything else that's out there. Much of that relationship is expressed to the world in the language of music. David Rudder described it in his 1987 classic calypso music as a living vibration. We have always, as a people, been involved in this deeply passionate liaison. What is being offered to us right now does not honor that relationship at all. And now we believe the relationship is in jeopardy because too many of us have become content with a glorious flirtation with our culture. We believe in the TTPA that it's time to change the status of that relationship. We ask today that you, we, us all stop flirting with our queen, make it official, and commit. Thank you very much. So we'd now like to ask members of the media to please feel free to field your questions. That's quite unusual. Any questions?
Hi, good afternoon. Anselm Gibbs, TV6 News. I know you said you're asking for the green light for Carnival 2023. Some people have been talking about possibly doing Carnival in August, September. Are you all in favor of that, or you just rather just go straight to next year instead of thinking of doing like a scale down or whatever version later in the year?
That's a conversation that we've had amongst our membership and, of course, the practitioners, and the general consensus appears to be that it's not a good fit because there are far too many other aspects of how we plan for Carnival and the logistics of getting it done that will be impacted by moving it to August. So the general answer is no. There can perhaps be permutations of the answer, but that's the short answer to the question. Any other questions from the media? Anyone else in the audience? Ms. Dunath from Loop. Yeah, thanks.
Alina Dudnath from Loop News. Just thinking, currently these safe zone regulations, there are ramifications for both the owner of a space where a safe zone is, as well as a person if there's a breach. Have you all thought about those kinds of details, and if there were a safe zone Carnival event and there was a breach, how you might address a problem, as that could be problematic. For example, if someone who is unvaccinated tried to breach an event, both the person hosting the event and the attendant, the unvaccinated person might be liable. So have you all thought about that issue or how to address something like that?
Okay, sure. Mr. Precilla will take this one.
In terms of, well, first of all, we would start by saying what we're asking for is beyond Carnival, is to reopen the sector as a whole. In terms of the safe zone venues, we have proposed over 20 different venues, and as of today, none have been approved. The only approved venues that we have heard of are the government-owned venues. So first of all, I will start with that. We're asking, why hasn't any of our proposed venues as safe zone venues been considered for approval? Secondly, in terms of the security of our venues, we as event promoters and producers, we face the issues of stormers all the time. Every single event, we would have security measures in place for the average stormer. So it is just someone we would usually prevent from entering our space who is not supposed to be there. It has nothing to do whether you're vaccinated or not. It is we have security measures in place. All of the venues that we have proposed will be enclosed venues with a designated entry and exit points with security personnel at the perimeter and with all COVID-19 protocols that would be in place to check your temperature, for you to sanitize before you enter, to check your vaccination status. We also have electronic measures within which you come and you show your card, it's scanned. We have the Vax e-certificate that we were willing to incorporate into our event zones to make sure the safety of this thing it is foolproof. And we as the event producers and promoters are the ones with the experience to carry this thing out, because we've been doing it and preventing stormers for years.
Any other questions, please? If you could, when you get to the mic, say your name and which movement or media house you represent.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, it's evening. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Delicia Patterson, and I am one of the many representatives of the Trinidad movement. I more have some comments and some expressions as opposed to see. Now, at the start of the Trinidad movement, of course, almost all the artists were shunned by the wider public. Reason, right? Mainly the content of the music that they were putting out there. As we moved along and we decided, and we saw some more coming out of some of the artists, and the hype started to grow, the recognition started to grow, the international recognition, I should say, started to grow. I can make a specific example with one of our local artists, Prince Swanee, who got recognition from Drake. Now, our industry, our movement, I should say, has been severely overlooked. I would like to express, many thanks to the TTPA for inclusion. I would also like to thank the stakeholders who were responsible last year or year before at the Soca event to include the Trinidad artists. I want to believe that is where it started, right? They are being overlooked severely. I would like to encourage more inclusion and unity among the different stakeholders. I am honored to be a part of this. I was not 100% prepared, be here at this time, but I still tried to make the effort to come because I believe in working together. We also need to understand that there's a new generation coming out, and we need to pay more attention to them and listen to them more. In my age group, I am sure I belong to the age group with Jerome. So we are now going to take over from people like Simon, So I just literally wanted to express thanks and gratitude and to continue to share my personal mantra, which is our country's motto: together we aspire, together we achieve. And I believe with more coming together, we would be able to reach somewhere. And I would hope that not only this statement might raise some eyebrows, but that's okay. I'm a former member of the media. Let's not include artists when it's general elections time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Patterson from the Trinidad movement. So I'd like to invite members of the media, if there are any other questions or comments, please feel free. Now is the time. Okay, so there seems to be quiet in the room.
Yeah, just to drive home the point that Paige would have raised in terms of making a decision on Carnival 2023 now, is because, ask yourselves this, those of you at home looking at us, those of you in the audience, if you have ever traveled out of Trinidad and Tobago, and somebody asks you where you're from, and you say Trinidad and Tobago, what is the first thing they relate us to? And it's a rhetorical question, because the first thing that anyone thinks of when they think of Trinidad and Tobago is our carnival. And then ask yourself this: do we think moving forward that we should be making a decision or a call on a carnival that should mean so much to our country's tourism product 6 weeks before Ash Wednesday? In my opinion, I don't think so. If carnival is so much of an important product to the tourism of Trinidad and Tobago, it should be given way more attention. And decisions should be made way earlier. Because for us to put on any semblance or any taste of carnival in 6 weeks' time is absurd. You are not going to get a proper product to showcase what Trinidad and Tobago can offer to the rest of the world. So decisions like these should be made months in advance, a year in advance. So that is why we are calling for a decision to be made, not on Carnival 2022, because as Paige said, that ship has already sailed. We are looking at Carnival 2023 for us to say the mass producers have to produce their costumes. They would have band launch season in June. They had to start importing products. They had to start designing. All of these things happen from now for the next carnival. So you can't come to us. And we have been negotiating, as I said, and having meetings since May last year. And now we are going to get a result of what carnival would look like. To us, that is unacceptable. And to us, we understand that we are in a pandemic, but what we are saying is make a call on Carnival 2023 now so that we could put things in place. Because all due respect, nobody jumps on a plane to say, I go in the March Gras. They jump on a plane, and I say this with all due respect, because the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association's membership are the ones that put on the events that attract the tens of thousands of tourists that we have, that bring in the US revenue, that bring in the foreign currency into this country, that bring in the tourism revenue into this country. And we think that with that in mind, we can include the cultural aspect. Of course, we love it. Of course, we want to see those. Of course, we want to see things like the March Gras happen. We think it should be revamped. We think that all of those things should definitely get a revamp and definitely include members of the TTPA to help in this process. But what we are saying is, don't make these calls so late. Don't just throw on a carnival for having a carnival sake, to say you're giving us something to hold on to. We give all our carnival. It is not going to augur well with our entire industry. Yes, we will put on something. Okay, you will have a Carnival 2022. But what we really want to prepare for is, as taken out of the AG words, the mother of all carnivals, which we think can happen in 2023 if we start to prepare for it from now. Do not give us that notice 6 weeks before the season. To us, that is not taking our carnival product, our tourism product, our culture product that we love so dearly as the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. This is us. This is we thing. This is not one group of people alone. This is all of us. This is what runs through our blood. This is what we are known for. And it hurts me to see that our economy, yes, it is supported by oil and gas, where I'm from. That's my original sector. I'm an engineer, and I came from that sector. But I feel as though that has been a handicap to us, because the other islands who depend on tourism solely, they understand the value of their culture. They understand the value of putting on things, of making decisions and planning earlier. But because we don't depend solely on carnival or on our event sector to run our country, we shove it to the side. Trinidad and Tobago's event sector, not only the carnival sector, we are known for putting on some of the best events in the entire Caribbean. When people come here, they know they're coming to have a good time. Our tourism product is not our beaches. We do not have, yes, Tobago has beautiful beaches, we know that. But when you compare tourism product for tourism product with the other islands, Trinidad and Tobago's edge is not really our beaches. It is our event sector. And until that day, when the powers that be realize this and wake up, Trinidad and Tobago's tourism won't go anywhere. So we need to redesign our carnival product and make sure that the decisions are made much earlier.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead, Blaxx.
I love that.
Blaxx is asking how are we going to get the powers that be to wake up?
Because we are sleeping.
They hearing us? We're hoping that they're hearing us.
We hope that they're hearing us.
Having press conferences like these and getting the unity that we get in here. And we all had to come together in this thing. Because we are the ones that put it on.
Thing about there's something about Jamaica Carnival. And Rome, don't be fooled, but oil and gas. Carnival contribute a nice chunk to our GDP. A nice chunk. But the question is how are we going to get? Because most people look at Carnival as wine and jam. But so much. Bungie sing a song about it. You know the song?
Heart of the people.
Heart of the people, there's so much. You say something.
So we want to thank everybody for their contribution today. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for those of you who are listening to us on our Facebook stream. Thanks for anyone else who's on another stream in the global space listening to us. We do hope that this has made an impact, and we are going to continue to engage with you, our stakeholders, publicly in the hope that Trinidad and Tobago does wake up to the value of our culture. Thank you very much, everyone. Do have a good, safe evening.
I miss the energy. We Trinbago vibe that comes alive for the world's greatest show. I miss the passion and unity when we stand together, rallying hard for we team. I miss the food, we best mix of cultures, stewed and curried and sauteed into the most delicious dishes. I miss the artistry, we beautiful country. I miss the celebrating, all the moments that mean the world to us. Working, creating, playing, we can recapture all the things we love. Do your part. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Watch your distance. Get vaccinated. When we work together for the greater good, we will win. Let's put we before me. Let's do this, TNT. We, not me, TT.